Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ya Fattah, Ya Fattah, Ya Fattah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa barik wa sallim. Rabbana zidna ilma, Rabbi shrah li sadri, yassir li amri, wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I know that last 2 days were very hectic, so and very rushed. So today I would like to start with you one by one, asking that if you have any difficulty in any of the topics. So I will try to recap that first before we start our last topic of the ism today, inshallah ta'ala. And today we will end the ism chapter and we will start the fail from Tuesday. And on Monday you have a quiz. So I will start with Sister Hodma. So Sister Hodma, any query, any question so far? If is anything you want me to clarify?
Not on the top of my head. Oh, just they said in the book that the isms, the Jumla Ismiya doesn't always start with the ism. There's a few exceptions. Did I miss that lesson? Did you learn about that, or
no? I told you that Jumla Ismiya always start with ism, but when we have harfu nasab, then we have a harf starting the Jumla instead of ism, right?
Okay, that's what it means. Okay.
Yes, and sometimes the Jumla Ismiya comes also under a Jumla Failure. Right? So we have not studied Jumla Failure yet, but inshallah ta'ala, when we'll start a topic of fail, you will find that Jumla Ismiya is coming inside a Jumla Failure as well. So this also refer to that. But as per what we have studied so far, the simplest observation is that when we have a harfu nasab starting a Jumla or harfu jar in case of abnormal sentence structure, then we have a harf starting a Jumla. But when we have a harf in front of and starting off as a beginning of a sentence, we will see if it's coming before a ism or a fail. If it's coming before an ism, then it's a Jumla Ismiya, and if it's coming before a fail, then it's a Jumla Failure. Okay? Any more questions, Sister Hodma?
No.
Okay, very well. Sister Parveen, Amin, do you have any question?
Yes, Ustaza. Actually, I will read again, inshallah, but I have confusion with breaks, how to find out the breaks and give the...
yeah. Okay, so the simplest thing is that when we have the common breaks that we have in Jumla Ismiya is that whenever you see an independent pronoun, right? You will see the independent pronoun always when you say in English, right? Independent pronoun is he, she, it, they, right? You, yes. I, me, right? So when you have in English, you have he is, she is. You don't have he and something else attached to it, right? It's always he is, she is, right? So in English, you say that is coming right after independent pronoun. Similarly, in because we are using is am are to translate. In Arabic, there is no is am are. So if you think in English, you say that okay, when there is an independent pronoun, it means that is coming right after it. Right? The first thing is the break in chain. Second thing is ismul ishara. So if you start thinking in English, ismul ishara means this, these, or those, or that, or those, right? So when you have in English, you say this is my book. So you say this, and is coming right after what? This, right? So this is Jumla, is ismul ishara. But in Arabic, if you have a musharun lahi containing an al, then it's not a Jumla, it is a fragment, right? So if you have an musharun lahi common, right, something which is not containing an al, then you have a Jumla Ismiya, and then you will put is between ismul ishara and the rest of it, right?
Okay.
So second thing is that, and the third is harfu nasab and ismuha. So harfu nasab and ismuha fragment you have studied. So when you have a harfu nasab, one of the 8 that we have, and you have an ism in a rafa form, whatever, if it could be right after the harfu nasab, or it could be some places after. You see the idafa can come in between them, right? We have many examples.
Yes.
So So when you have the first ism in rafa form, and you say that first ism means it could be a fragment as well, but when you have a nasab fragment or a nasab ism in nasab form, then you put your is, am or are, because you know harfu nasab is your fragment has ended. And we say that if one fragment is ended, another fragment is beginning, there is a break in chain, because the two things are separate buckets.
Separate, yes.
So then this is one of the common, and the third is between a proper and a common word. So if you have a proper ism starting a sentence, then you have a common ism after it, then you will put your invisible is, am, are between a common, proper and a common ism. Right?
Okay.
So these are the four most common breaks in chain. But as per your understanding and as per your knowledge, you know that mubtada can be harfu nasab, mubtada can be idafa as well. So just to make you clear that apart from these four, if you find anything that is not the part of the thing that is connected, you start from the right hand side, Arabic, right? Okay. So when you're starting a jumla, you find a type of a fragment or type of ism which is not connected to the other part of an other ism coming after it, or it's not coming to other fragment that is coming after it, then you have a break in chain.
Okay.
Right? When two
Yes.
things are not connected, you say okay, they are not connected, there is a break in chain.
Okay, even though if we don't know the meaning, then we just see the grammatical things and then we will figure out.
Okay, that's how we started, because we are not looking at the meaning, we are looking at the grammar.
Yes.
So
Okay.
let's just see, you started looking at the grammar first, but now on yesterday we did the translation as well. So now you can see, if you know the grammar right and you will be given the meaning, now you can easily translate it. Because here we are not doing a reverse process, they're looking at the translation now to make sense of Arabic. No, we are trying to learn the Arabic and then try to make sense of the translation.
Yes. Jazakallah khair, Ustaz.
No problem. Sister Samia, any question?
No, sir. I yesterday didn't have time to go over the notes, but inshallah I will try and go over it again. You know, yesterday's class thing. But so far, alhamdulillah, it's okay.
Okay, no problem. Inshallah ta'ala, if something comes in your revision, and when something is coming quiz, inshallah ta'ala, I will explain it to you on Monday.
Okay, jazakallah khair.
No problem. Sister Sarah, any questions? I know you missed some classes, so please, if there is anything.
Yes, Ustaza. The Tuesday's recording is not on the channel, so I didn't hear the class completely. So I think I have no knowledge about what was done on Tuesday.
Tuesday class recording is there. I uploaded it yesterday.
No, it's not. It's not, Ustaza.
What is
I
happening?
also checked.
Is this still not?
Yeah, still not, because I also missed Tuesday due to my job. So yeah, it's missed.
Okay, I have the recording. Inshallah ta'ala, I'll try to do it today, because I got all my internet to try to upload it twice on my holidays. But yeah, I will inshallah ta'ala have a look and see what's happening and try to do it as quick as I can today, inshallah ta'ala.
Okay, so
Okay, Sister Sarah, that will help you inshallah over the weekend. And even if you come across anything, you can just drop me a voice note and I'll explain it to you.
Yes, inshallah, Ustaza. And I request you that yesterday what we was done, if you can make a short 5-minute audio and upload, it will be great.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll do that as well, inshallah ta'ala. But I cannot promise to do it today. Inshallah, I'll do it tomorrow. If
Yes,
I get
inshallah.
chance, I'll do it today, but it's highly unlikely. Okay?
Yes, inshallah. Jazakallah khair.
No problem. Sister Parveen Maroof, any questions from you?
No, alhamdulillah. I think I'm tagging along slightly behind you guys, but I think I'm okay so far, alhamdulillah.
That's very good, mashallah. So anything if you come across in between to think that, okay, you need more clarification, you can ask me anytime you want.
Inshallah, jazakallah khair.
No problem. Sister Habiba?
Yes. Yes, I'm okay. I think I'm trying. Okay.
Okay, so far so good.
Yeah.
Okay, so we don't have Sister Raisa with us today.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not at home. I'm calling her.
Okay, just check with her if she's joining us, okay?
Okay.
Okay, and anybody know about Sister Lippy? She's not joining it from quite some time.
She's this time is difficult for her. She's normally like she gets I don't know. She just says this time is difficult anyway, and because of summer holidays, it's
Yeah, I know. I was just thinking, but it's quite some time. So, just if you can chat with her and ask her that if she's struggling with anything, she has this weekend if we can, because
Yeah.
then we will start Jumla failure. So, if she want to any kind of a help, she can ask me. Right? I will try to help her any way I can. Right?
Okay.
Because Ustaza, many places school starts after summer,
I know.
so maybe it's hard to keep this
Yeah,
time.
that's why I'm just not pushing her to say that she should join, but I say that if she's completing with us at this moment, she should complete Jumla Ismiya, because
Yes.
nobody goes in detail that much. And then when we go to Jumla failure, it's a different stories. If she is struggling with time, she can skip that, but she should, if she has started and she is going very well, mashallah. So I want her to just finish Jumla failure in her own time. And let me know what kind of a support she needs, and I will try to give her, inshallah ta'ala.
Okay, I'll let her know. Sure.
Inshallah. So try to encourage her that she just continue with Jumla Ismiya, and then she can the ism part, then she can take a break if she wants, right?
So
She can learn.
will you do continue on weekend?
Sorry, weekend?
Yeah, because after this course.
Initially the course was designed to be ended in August, and some of you are willing to join the surf classes as well in September with Quratul. So I'm trying to finish ISM more properly, like any way I can, as slowly as I can, to give you the clear concept. And then inshallah ta'ala, in the rest of the August, like 2 weeks, we will do the initially we'll do the fail, the introduction to fail. And then in September onward, inshallah ta'ala, 3 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we will have classes continue. Who can join us is okay to them, and who cannot, I understand. But for them who are joining, we will study inshallah ta'ala fail in detail from September onward. It will take 2 months or more than 2 months. It may take till half of our November, but we will start inshallah ta'ala our topic of fail inshallah in detail.
With the Ustaza Quratul.
No, Sister Quratul, inshallah ta'ala, she will have a surf classes. The Islam fail is a Nahu thing, right? She will inshallah start the surf classes in September. So that's why I wanted to give you introduction of all kind of fail in the August classes initially, so that you will be able to understand what the surf is talk about, when they talk about the fail madi or mudari or mabni al majhul, so you know what they are talking about. And then inshallah ta'ala in September simultaneously we will continue our study on the fail with more detail, inshallah ta'ala.
Oh, inshallah. Jazakallah.
No problem. So we are starting our last topic on Ism today, which is a complex sentence structure. So there is nothing new, but there is something that you need to understand. If you come across in Quran, then you said, okay, we have not studied this, but something that you need to understand, that this is also can happen. So let's look at the book. And I want Sister Parveen Amin to read for us. Is this font visible to you? Sister Parveen Amin?
Yes, I am.
Okay, can you please read for us complex sentences?
Ustaza, what is the page number?
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, but it's very tiny.
That's why I say, can you read the form? Okay.
Yeah, complex sentence. Yeah, I got it.
Can you read it now?
Yes, Alhamdulillah.
Okay.
Having a sentence is a khabar. We call our discussion about sentence level and fragment level labels of macro and micro era. Recall that on a sentence level, the possibilities are limited. In a Jumla Ismiya, on a sentence level, there are only 3 labels or buckets: al-mubtada, al-khabar, al-mutalik bil-khabar. The contents of those buckets, however, can vary.
Okay, please break here. Okay, we say that we did the 2 type of labeling of in Jumla Ismiya, which was micro, a sentence label, and the other was micro, which was the fragment label. What does it mean? That when we started looking at Jumla Ismiya, we first identify the three kind of buckets that we put our parts of a Jumla Ismiya into it. The first is Mubtada, the second is Khabar, and the third is Muta'alliq bil Khabar. Right? So we say okay, the first part is Mubtada, the middle part is Khabar, and the last part is Muta'alliq bil Khabar in a normal structure. But when you look at more deeper into it, and we say the Mubtada is a harfun nasab fragment, or it's just an isim in rafa status, or it could be a dafa fragment, right? And we see at the khabar, we say okay, it's an isim, or it is like in rafa status. And then we have muta'alliq bil khabar, or a khabar can be, a muta'alliq bil khabar can be a jar majroor fragment, or a special dafa fragment of time and place. So when we have a look at when we look at this, and when we identify what kind of a fragment or an ism is inside the mubtada khabar muta'alliq bil khabar, that is called a fragment level label. So now what we are going to see is that these contents of this bucket, however, can vary. I mean, whatever we studied as one thing, right? Now we're going to see that these buckets can vary, they can slightly change in its content. So now, Sister Praveen, please keep on reading.
The topic of complex sentence is concerned with the khabar bucket in particular and what it can hold within it. The khabar bucket is special and different than the offered two buckets in that it can hold a full sentence within it.
Okay,
it
now
can carry.
Please stop. So when we're talking about the khabar, we say the khabar can be an isim or an isim plus isim fragment, but we consider it as one thing. But sometime in a khabar, you can also have a full sentence inside it. You mean a sentence inside a sentence. That is why it is called complex, because when you normally look at the sentence, what we have heard so far, we say okay, mubtada khabar muta'alliq bil khabar, and khabar can be isim or isim plus isim fragment. But now I'm telling you that khabar can also be a sentence on its own, right? And that kind of sentence is called complex sentence. Please carry on.
It can carry both Jumla Ismiya and Jumla Fi'liya. We will study more about Jumla Fi'liya as a khabar after we study Fi'l.
Okay.
For now,
No, please close. When we say that the khabar can be a sentence, so there are two types of sentences in Arabic grammar. First is Jumla Ismiya and the second is Jumla Fi'liya. Jumla Ismiya, that we have studied and we understand that the sentence inside a sentence, and if there is a sentence as a khabar, we will mark it as mubtada khabar muta'alliq bil khabar, and we look at its part, right? And we put it into one bucket, and then we'll see if there is a muta'alliq bil khabar after it or not, right? And then we will talk about it separately. But we will consider the whole jumla as a khabar. And it could come as a jumla fi'liya as well, since something that we have not studied. But for you to identify, if the khabar is starting with a fi'l, it's a jumla fi'liya. If a khabar is starting with an isim, it's a jumla ismiya. So if you spot a jumla fi'liya, please ignore it at the moment. Inshallah ta'ala, when we'll do the jumla fi'liya, then we will deal with it. But at the moment, you just ignore it. And if you find a jumla ismiya, then you have to consider what are the parts of that jumla fi'liya inside a jumla ismiya inside that jumla ismiya. Right? Thank you, Sister Parveen. Now I want Sister Samia to please read, to do this example for us, please.
Let's take a look at the following examples of Jumla Ismiya as a khabar. So, هذا هو الحق.
Okay.
So here we've got هذا, we've got مبتدا, and هو الحق we have khabar.
Okay. That was simple because it was written here, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it was not written here and you have seen haza huwa al-haqqu, you know haza is an ismul ishara, and the word that's coming after it is not with an al, so it's a jumla ismiya, and we put our is after haza, which is this is, right? But we have huwa al-haqqu. But now we look at the khabar, then we should have an isim in rafa form, and we know huwa, huma, hum. Huwa is an independent pronoun, and it is can be a khabar. But we know that independent pronouns always come at the beginning of a sentence, usually as a mubtada, right? So now we say if we have huwa al-haqqu and huwa al-haqqu are connected as a mudaf and mudaf ilayh. So when we say, oh, this is not, cannot be mudaf ilayh because huwa cannot be mudaf, right? And al-haqqu because mudaf should be light no al, and huwa is can be light no al, but we haven't seen a huwa al-haqqu right kind of thing, right? Because its haqqu is rafa, not jar. So this is not a idafa fragment. It cannot be mawsuf sifa fragment, and it could not be our ismul ishara isharul nahi fragment. So we know that huwa and al-haqqu are two separate things. They are not connected, right? And al-haqqu cannot be mutaliq bil khabar, right? Because it's an ism in rafa form, and we have no such thing as mutaliq bil khabar, which is ism in rafa form. So huwa al-haqqu are not connected anyway. So we say, okay, what is going on here? So we say huwa al-haqqu is another sentence, because if we look at the huwa al-haqqu, we say is come after an independent pronoun, and huwa al-haqqu means it is the truth. Huwa means he or it, and al-haqqu means the truth. So it is the truth. So it is the truth is a sentence on its own, right? So we say haza, this, it is the truth. This is the truth. If you put it in a right language, we will say this is the truth. But it in word by word translation, we say this, it is the truth, right? So this, it is the truth, is a jumla inside a jumla ismiya as a khabar. Does it make any sense to all of you? I know I'm talking a lot of alien language at this moment, but are you finding it understandable?
Yes, Ustaza.
Ustaza, the sentence which is inside is also Jumla Ismiya. The same.
Yes, because what
Jumla
it is
Ismiya inside Jumla Ismiya.
yes, what it is starting with huwa. Huwa is an damir. Damir is an ism, right?
Okay.
That's why I explain it to you in that much detail, because I want you not to look at this mubtada khabar thing, but try to process it on its own, because haza and huwa, there's a break in chain. Huwa and al-haqqu, there is a break in chain, right? So if we have
Huwa al-haqqu is one jumla ismiya.
huwa al-haqqu is one jumla ismiya, right?
Okay, so if only haza haqqun means different story.
Yeah, haza haqqun means this truth.
This is a truth.
No,
Yeah.
haza al-haqqu means this truth, because if we have al after haza, it's a
Yeah,
fragment,
then
not
fragment.
an
Yes,
ism.
yes.
Haza al-haqqu means this truth.
Okay, got it. Yes.
Okay, now when we do the next example, now I want you not to read from here, but try to give me your logic, and it can be wrong, I understand, but try to make your own logic why it is what it is. So I want Sister Sarah, because she hasn't learned everything, but she has a previous learning from what the fragments and the sentences and things are. So please try to make sense of what is written here.
Okay. Innaka anta allamul ghuyub. Okay, so innaka
What
is
is
the
innaka?
mubtada.
Okay, what is innaka? Mubtada is
Innaka,
fine, but what is mubtada
yes.
as a micro level?
Ka is the attached pronoun,
Mm-hmm.
and inna is the nasab.
Mm-hmm.
So this is nasab wa ismuha fragment.
Very good. So we have our invisible is coming after innaka, because harfun nasab and isma fragment is ended, right?
Yeah. So innaka indeed is, or certainly is.
Mm-hmm.
Anta allamul ghuyub. Anta allamul ghuyub. I can just say that this can be the allamu is in rafa form, so it can be the khabar.
Okay. When you say going to the khabar, first look at the mutaliq bil khabar, right? You know mubtada khabar and mutaliq bil khabar. So do you find any mutaliq bil khabar in here?
Mutaliq bil khabar is the jar majroor fragment.
Yeah. Any jar majroor fragment here?
No, I don't find allamul ghuyub.
Are any idafa fragment of time and place? Special mudaf?
No, as far as I remember.
So there is no muta'alliq bil khabar, right?
Yeah.
So all of things that is written here, anta allamul huyubi, they all must have to be the khabar.
Okay.
Does it
So we
make
have to
sense?
consider all of them as khabar.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you see how we are doing considering all of it as a khabar, because we don't see any muta'alliq bil khabar coming in, and we have identified a mubtada. So whatever is remaining is what it is.
It is the khabar.
Now we'll do the inside look at anta allamul huyubi.
Okay.
Now try to analyze this separately.
Okay. Anta allamul ghuyubi. Anta is you. Singular
What is a independent pronoun, right?
independent pronoun. So it will be in the rafa status. And allamul ghuyubi. Allamul ghuyubi is allamu is the mudaf because it's light and doesn't have al. And al ghuyubi is the mudaf ilayh. So we have the idafa fragment here.
Okay, and what about anta and allamu? Is there any connection between anta and allamu?
Anta is the anta is the independent pronoun, and then we have the idafa fragment.
Anta is an isim and allamu is an isim, right?
Yes.
And we have three type of fragments which have isim plus isim. So one is ismul ishara, gone because there's no ismul ishara. The second is mawsuf sifa, gone because we do not see, because anta is proper and allamu is common. So anyway, that is gone. The third is the idafa fragment. Allamu is rafa, no jar, so idafa fragment is gone. So there is no connection between anta and allamu.
Yeah.
And when there is no connection between anta and allamu, it's giving us what? That there is an invisible is coming in?
Yes, because of the independent pronoun, there is an invisible is coming.
So we cannot have two invisible is, like we cannot have khabar is after khabar, right? And we do not have any muta'alliq bil khabar anyway. So this is another jumla ismiya as a khabar, right?
Okay. Another jumla ismiya as a khabar because it's also because it's starting with anta, which is a pronoun, and you just said that the damir is the ism, so also that could be a reason.
That could be the reason, but you have to, the process of elimination.
Yeah.
We have to do that because we have to find out the connection between the isms. Like how I do is that what is the connection between anta and allamu? What is the connection between allamu and ghuyubi? Then we find out that there is no connection between anta and allamu. And anta, if there's no connection, then it looks like it's starting with a pronoun. It's a jumla ismiya which is coming as a khabar.
Yeah.
And anta is a mubtada, and allamul ghuyubi is a khabar.
Khabar inside, yeah.
So anta allamul ghuyubi and is invisibles come between anta and allamu again.
Yes.
And we cannot have two is in a sentence, right?
Yeah.
We will make logic of it now, and we will not say certainly you are the knower of the unseen, but we say certainly you are the knower of the unseen. And you say Allah Ta'ala is making more emphasis in this sentence by saying certainly you are the knower of the unseen, like putting all of the, when we say to Allah Ta'ala, like certainly you are the knower of the unseen, we are saying that absolutely there is no one else who knows about
But
the
you,
unseen.
yeah.
Right?
Okay.
That's how Allamia has put so much emphasis, like omitting all the possibilities to be otherwise. Putting this type. So these kind of sentences comes very often in Quran, inshallah. So you will see. So does this make any sense to you, Sister Sarah?
Yes, alhamdulillah.
And to
Alhamdulillah.
everybody else, does it make sense to you? Are you finding it, you see?
I have a question. Before you said that if we put M is R after first break of any chain. So here first break is innaka, no?
Yes, that's what I say. Sometimes you have to make, in English, you have to make a logic. If it's a simple jumla ismiya, not a complex jumla ismiya, you put the is after the first break. But now if you translate it, certainly you are the knower of the unseen, that makes sense as well. But it doesn't look like a good English. Right? So that's why you say certainly you are the knower of the unseen. we omitted one R here. Logically, there are two R in this sentence because one R is from the khabar, because khabar is a sentence as well. If I put word by word translation, right? For one jumla ismiya, we are putting only one R.
Yes.
Like if I say certainly you are, for the innaka antamul huyubi jumla ismiya, and then you are the knower of the unseen because of anta allamul huyubi, another jumla ismiya which is inside. And to avoid the two is MR in one sentence, that's why you omitted it and you put certainly you are the knower of the unseen, which makes more flow in speaking. Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay, fine. Who should I ask next? Sister Parveen Amin. Please read from in the examples above.
Okay. In the examples above, there are two tiers of sentence level labeling. This is because the khabar, which is a sentence level has a sentence inside of it. After completing the first tier of sentence level labeling, the sentence inside the khabar is pulled out and labeled like any other sentence.
Okay, this is something, sorry, please stop it. This is something that we just studied, that we label one part first and then we go inside the part and then we'll see what is going on inside it. Then we will find out what is, and we label it again as a jumla ismiya, and then we'll find out what are the separate parts of the each sentences, right? Thank you, Sister Parveen Amin. Sister Parveen Maroof, I want you to do this example again and try to explain it to us, like how you have processed it, not how it is written, how have you processed it.
Huwa al-haqqu. Huwa is independent pronoun. And so al-haqqu is an ism, and it's irrelevant. So the breakage is huwa al-haqqu. Is the truth is there. So it's ism plus ism fragment, isn't it?
Yes, it's not a fragment, because to be a fragment, huwa al-haqqu should have a connection.
Yes, and there is a breakage, there isn't a connection. Yes. Huwa is an ism. So
What kind of an ism it is?
It's an independent pronoun. So it should be in rafa status, shouldn't it?
Yes. So when we have an independent pronoun, then what we have after it, if it's a sentence, there's a break in chain.
Yes, there is a break in chain. Yes.
And haqqu is an ism in which status?
It's in rafa status.
So huwa becomes our mubtada and haqqu become what?
Al-khabar.
Become khabar, because for khabar it should be in rafa form.
Rafa status, yes.
So huwa al-haqqu is making a sentence on its own. It is the truth.
Mubtada al-khabar, yes.
So now go back and haza huwa al-haqqu. We know huwa al-haqqu is a sentence on its own.
Yes.
But if you put haza before it, so there is no connection between haza and huwa. We have a break. And
Yeah,
what
we have a
is-
break. That's if mushara and huwa cannot be mushara alayhi.
cannot be musharun lahi. So we have a break here, and then we have two sentences. One sentence haza huwa al-haqqu, and inside a khabar of haza we have another sentence which is huwa al-haqqu.
Huwa al-haqqu, yes.
Okay, does it make
Yes.
more sense now?
Yes, it does, yes.
Okay, so Sister Habiba, I want you to do anta allamul ghuyubi now.
Anta is an independent pronoun, so, and Allamu is singular in Rafa, so we can say it is a break of chain. So, and Allamul Ghaibi, Allamul Ghaibi, Ghaibi. Okay. this is an idafa fragment. So we can say it khabar
Khabar of anta.
What you said, the name of this Mutalik bil khabar, no?
No. It cannot.
No, it's cannot. Yeah, it's not jar majrur. So Allamu is khabar.
Allamul Ghuyubi is a khabar because Allamul Ghuyubi is a one bucket of a idafa fragment, right?
Okay, yeah. This is khabar and anta is.
I know you get confused of idafa. Idafa can be khabar. For idafa to be mutalik bil khabar should be a special mudaf fragment,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And Allamu is a normal ism, not a special mudaf.
So after anta, we should put m izar, and then
There it is as jumla ismiya with you are the knower of the unseen.
yes.
And now if we go back and we put it innaka or before it, innaka anta allamul ghuyubi. Now we have innaka, which is harfun as a fragment, which is a mubtada.
Yes.
And then we have this whole in anta allamul ghuyubi coming as a khabar of innaka.
Yeah. Then another sentence is in between.
So if you try to put it, it's a khabar of innaka, right? So now if you put the khabar of mubtada, that's it, khabar of innaka, then you will see, okay, this is about the innaka, right? It's the khabar of the innaka.
Yes.
Okay, now we'll do this exercise and try to make more our concept clearer. So Sister Hodma, I want you to do in humus sufahau. So you have to do the parts like mubtada khabar and mutalik bil khabar. And if you have a sentence inside the sentence, then you have to identify it as well, right?
Okay. Bismillah. Inna is certainly, hum is an attached pronoun. And then,
Okay, you say inna certainly hum attached pronoun. So what if we have, what kind of fragment we are looking at? What is inna?
what is inna? Inna hum is harfun nasb. Inna is harfun nasb, sorry.
So innahum is a harfun nasab fragment, right? And it's small
Yes.
fragment. So what do we
Yes.
see? What kind of a bucket it falls into? Mubtada khabar, mutalik bil khabar.
Mubtada.
Okay, so we have our mubtada sorted, right?
Yes.
Now look at the other parts.
And then we have hum, which is an independent pronoun. Humus sufaha'u. And I don't really know what a sufaha'u is.
So better, it's an ism in a rafa form.
Yeah.
Al
Okay.
is showing us an ism, right? Al cannot come before harf or a fail, right? Al is coming to a word, it's an ism, right?
Yes.
So it's an ism in rafa form. So is there any connection between hum and al sufaha'u? Is there any kind of fragment you are looking at or something?
No.
So hum and sufaha'u are separate.
They're separate. So you would, and hum is an independent pronoun. So you'd put an invisible is.
Yes, so you put invisible is after hum and as sufaha'u.
So maybe those two words together are the khabar.
Those two
And the
words
mubtada
together
is-
are a sentence on itself, and they are the khabar of inna,
Innahum.
and there is no mutalik bil khabar in this sentence, right?
No.
Okay. When you have multiple words, you have to. I told you that if you look for the mutalik bil khabar first, that will make your life more easier. Then you have to say, okay, there's no mutalik bil khabar, then this all is a khabar, right? And then you will look deep into it and you'll find the parts in the khabar, and that will make your life easier. But you did a very good job, mashallah.
It's just the process of elimination.
Exactly. If you do the process of elimination, you leave with few things to consider, and you omit the rest of them. So your brain has to do less. Okay, thank you, Sister Hadma. Sister Raisa.
Yes.
Okay, Sister, are you following us? What we are doing today?
Yes, I think so, yes. I'll listen to the recording again and then
Yeah, we were just revising when you joined. Before that, we were just having a discussion about what we have studied earlier. So you haven't missed anything for today's topic. So please try the example. Oh, sorry, the two the sentence, second sentence. Inna haza lahul qasasul haqqu.
Inna hada lahuwa okay, so inna indeed hada it's the ismul ishara hada.
What is inna first?
Okay, so inna is indeed. So
what kind of an with a harf or ism? What it is?
It's an ism.
Inna is an ism, right?
Yeah. It's the what's it called? Inna is harf al-nasr.
So it's not an ism, it's a harf, right?
It's a harf al-nasr.
Okay. And then what do we look for a harf? What we look for after harf al-nasr?
Harf al-nasr. So the next that would be mubtada, no?
But we need to find ismuha as well, right? Not alone. Inna cannot make a mubtada, right?
Oh yeah, the ismuha. So inna hada lahuwa.
So what is the first ism that you find in this sentence that is in a rafa state, nasab state?
Huwa. I mean, sorry, hada.
Very well done, because haza is non-flexible and does not show the status. So inna haza will make our mubtada. Okay.
Yeah.
Now please, what do we have to look for it now? At the other two parts?
Yeah, the khabar and the muta'alliq bil khabar.
And what did I say to Sister Hodma just before I ask you to do this example? What should we look for first?
We need to look for the fragment.
When we say about the muta'alliq or muta'alliq bil khabar, I say to make your life easy, what should you look for first? Khabar or muta'alliq bil khabar?
Muta'alliq bil khabar, because that's easier to find.
That's easier to find, right? So do you find any jar majroor fragment here?
Yeah, lahua.
Lahua is a jar majroor fragment, right? So lahua is our muta'alliq bil
khabar.
So we mentioned muta'alliq bil khabar here, right? And then we have what?
We have al-qasasu
Haqqu. So al-qasasu al-haqqu looks is the only thing left that should be our
khabar.
So now we have to look inside the khabar, right? Now give me what is al-qasasu and haqqu in terms of harf, ism or fi'l.
Al-qasasu al-haqqu, they're two ism.
There are two isms. What do we, if we have two ism together, what should we look for? Which kind of fragment?
The ism has ism fragments.
Yes.
We can always see that this is not ismul ishara or is idafa. So it would be the ism.
It cannot be masuf. It cannot be masuf sifa.
Yeah, it can.
Okay, so it can be masuf sifa fragment.
Yeah, to see if they're both if they're all
matching the properties, right? And it looks like that they matches the properties, right?
Yeah, they
so
do.
This is our masuf sifa fragment.
Yeah.
So we do not have any sentence here, right?
No. It's all fragments, yeah.
It's all
fragments.
It's not. So we have a mubtada, then we have muta'alliq bil khabar, and then we have a khabar here.
Yes.
So we have a abnormal sentence structure here because the muta'alliq bil khabar is mutaqaddim and khabar is muakhar.
Yeah.
Very good. Third one. Who should I ask? Sisters.
What is the translation?
Certainly, this is
The true story.
This is la means
For
for you the true story.
For him.
For him the true story.
Certainly
Certainly this is for you the true story.
Ustaza, al-qasasul haqqu is the khabar because of the rafa status?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Good spotting. Sister Samia, can you please do ulaika humu waqudun naru?
So, what is harfi Ulaika is
Okay,
it's more.
now I'm trying to tell you something. Not always all va is harfi ataf. To be va to be an harfi ataf, it should be coming between something, right? So just say va is a harf, because all the time you all are saying va is an harfi ataf and I was ignoring it. But since we are completing the topic today, so from now on we will not see all va as a harfi ataf. For va to be harfi ataf should have to come between two isim or two fragments or something connecting them with the same status following, right?
So we just say as a harf.
It's just a harf because there's so many kind of va we have not studied. So just say va is an harf.
So why is the harf? Ulaika is ismul mawtula. Hum is an independent pronoun. Waqudun nari. So here wa could be harf ataf. Or is waqudu one word?
No, waqudu is a one word here.
Oh, waqudu. Okay, so it's so I don't see any mutalik bin khabar. I don't see any harf of jar or the jar majrur fragment, and I don't see special mudaf. So that's excluded.
So what we have to find first?
The mubtada. So wa ulaika is ism mawsul, so that could be that's the mubtada.
Yes.
And then
It does not show
there's
status, so it can be rafa nasab jar, right? So it is rafa because it's a mubtada.
mubtada. So then there's a breaking chain after that, before the hum. And then
Ulaika is ismul ishara, not ismul mawsula.
Oh, subhanallah.
Yeah, that's what I was confused.
Yeah, I was just giving her time to process because I think what would she say in the end?
هذا هذه
hazani haulai, hazihi hazani haulai, zalika zanika, ulaika zanika, ulaika. It's a feminine plural.
Ustada, the waw in waqudu is what did you say about the waw in waqudu?
Waqudu is a one word. Right,
one
let me
word.
check again, but I think waqudu is a one word. Let me check in the arrow tools. Okay, sisters, please carry on while I'm checking it.
Okay, so ulaika is okay. This is ismul ishara, and then after that there's no musharun ilayhi, so there's a breaking chain. And then hum is an independent pronoun. Waqudu nari is waqudu is loud and nari is jar places, so this is idafa fragment.
Yes, please. Waqudu is a one word, right?
Okay.
It means fuel.
Okay, so this looks like another. Hum waqudu nari looks like its own sentence.
Okay, now doesn't have to be looks like. You have to give me the parts, but why you did the process of elimination?
Because hum is the independent pronoun, and after that there's a breaking chain. There's no connection between hum and waqudu.
Okay, you are right now, but in the long run you can make mistake if you do not follow the process I told you, because that's something I'm trying your brain to process something in a way, because when you see a complicated thing you don't get confused, right? Ulaika is our mubtada, and we know ulaika and hum does not have any connection, so ulaika is our mubtada and afa is coming in. Now we have to look for khabar and muta'alliq bil khabar. And as I told to Sister Hodma, what we look for first, muta'alliq bil khabar. So there is no jar majroor or special mudaf, so there is no muta'alliq bil khabar, right? Then whatever we have, hum waqudun naru is all together is a khabar. So when we deep down inside the khabar, we will look at the three isms: hum, waqudu, and naru. Okay, whom you know is a damir. An-naru you know is an ism because al is there. Waqudu you didn't know that it was an ism, but I told you it's an ism, right? So now you look at the connection between hum, waqudu and an-naru. You will go first between hum and waqudu. You find no connection, right? It's the no country kind of fragments falling in. Now you look at waqudu and naru and you have identified that waqudu and naru is an idafa fragment. So we have a damir and we have an idafa fragment. They are not connected. So we say that this is a sentence. Right? I know you did everything right. You say everything right. But if you do not follow this process, there is a chance that you can make a mistake. Because you see home and you say it is simple, and because we are doing a very simple examples here. But inshallah, when we will be doing the examples from Quran, that can confuses you if you do not follow the process of elimination, right? That may you go in circles and say what's happening. Okay?
Right. Okay.
You did everything right. There's nothing wrong. But if you do it, that will make your life easier.
Okay, inshallah. Jazakallah khair.
Nothing, man. Okay, now we saw that we can khabar can be a sentence. Now we will see that khabar can be they can have multiple khabar, right? It cannot be a one khabar in a sentence. It can be multiple khabar. Like if I say in English, if I say like Fatima is a good girl, is a good daughter and a good wife. So there are two khabar about Fatima, right? That she is a good daughter and that she is a good wife. So there's not one thing about Fatima. There are two things that I'm explaining about Fatima. Right? So there are two khabar about Fatima. Khabar is something that is explaining the mubtada. So it is explaining the Fatima. So Fatima is a good daughter and a good wife. So there are two things that I'm explaining about Fatima. So sometimes you can have two khabar in a sentence. So we are doing the simple sentences up till now. Then there was one mubtada, one khabar, one mutalib bil khabar. Now we can have multiple khabar about the mubtada. So we will study this here. Okay, now I want Sister Sarah. Sister Sarah. Wallahu
Yes.
wasi'un alimun. We know wa is a harf and Allahu ismu jalala is in rafa form. It's a mubtada. Right? Now tell me, do you find any mutaliq bil khabar here?
No, I don't find mutaliq bil khabar.
And we have one isim wasi'u and one isim alimun, which is both are
Ism, so it's a
ismu
mawsuf
Allah.
sifa
Ismu Allah.
fragment.
Both are ismu Allah.
Ismu Allah. So yeah, we cannot say mawsuf sifa for Ismu Allah.
Yeah, so we consider wasi'un as a
Was,
isim number 1 and alimun as a isim number 2.
Yes.
Both rafa.
Both rafa. So this would be the khabar.
Khabar number 1 and khabar number.
Khabar number 1 and khabar number 2. Yeah.
And if you look at the translation, what I'm saying, and Allah is all encompassing and all knowing. Like if we say Allah is all encompassing, it's a sentence. If I say Allah is all knowing, it's a sentence. But we are explaining Allah in two different ways, all encompassing and all knowing. So we have two khabar about the Ismu Allah.
Yes.
So they are two khabar of Ismu Allahu, which is khabar number 1 is wasi'un and the khabar number 2 is alimun.
Alim.
Clear?
Yes. Alhamdulillah.
No problem. Sister Parveen Maruf. Next one, please.
وَرَبُّنَا Rabbu is light and na is an attached pronoun, so that can be mudaf le.
Okay.
وَرَبُّنَا and Ar-Rahmanu.
Okay, first thing
is,
first. First we do the the macro level, right? Mubtada khabar mutaliq bil khabar. What is Rabbuna?
So there is a breakage after Rabbuna, so that can be our mubtada.
That is our mubtada, right?
Yes, and Ar-Rahmanu is sifa of Allah, and Al-Musta'anu is a sifa of Allah as well, so we can't say sifa and mawsuf here. So we have to treat it as two separate isms. So we can say Rabbuna Ar-Rahmanu, and it will make sense as well. And we can say Rabbuna Al-Musta'anu, and that will make sense as well.
So Ar-Rahmanu is a khabar number 1 for Rabbuna, and Al-Musta'anu is a khabar number 2 for Rabbuna.
Yes.
So we have two khabar here.
Two khabars, and we can have both of them as together like we have here as well. So 1 and 2, yes.
So we cannot combine them. Cannot say that they are one khabar. We say khabar number 1, khabar number 2.
Okay.
Right? So we will have to mark them separately.
Yes.
Okay. Good. Yes, please.
Ar-Rahmanul Musta'an is not the with mawsuf. It can.
Now, when we have Ismu Jalala, we do not consider them as a Mawsuf Sifa. Because for Mawsuf and a Sifa, one thing has to be explained by something, right? One has to be an Ism, one has to be an adjective, right? And in Ismu Jalala, they are all the Ism or all the Sifat of Allah Ta'ala, right? They're all the names of Allah Ta'ala. There's no Sifa. If we consider them both names, or you consider them both Sifa, right? So there's no Ism and Sifa thing that is explaining each other. They are all independent. The merciful is independent and relied upon is independent. We are not explaining merciful with relied upon, right?
So it's completely opposite of Al-Qasas al-Haq, right?
Yes, you do not. When you have Ismu Allah mentioned somewhere, then even if they match in all 4 properties, we do not call them Mawsuf Sifa.
Okay, so no, if there is no Ismu Jalala here, and instead of Allah is anything different, then we can consider.
Yes, if it's not Ismu Jalala, if it was something else, two separate ism, if it's not Rabbuna, right? And if we have 2 ism that are matching in status, we will call them Mawsuf Sifa. No problem. Okay, so our topic officially has ended here, and I have to tell you about the quiz that we'll have on Monday, inshallah ta'ala. That will be covering everything that we have studied so far, and that will be a good recap. And I want you all to please give extra time this weekend, and I want to give you a homework as well, not a big homework. Everybody has to find me a complex sentence, ism sentence from the Quran, that we all recite Quran in our prayers, and we all read some part of a Quran sometime in our day. So if whenever you spotted something which is find out as a complex sentence structure, you just have to identify that and just have to point me that, okay, this was the ayah number of this surah, and you have to find 3, right? And you have to that will also be a part of our Monday's quiz, right? So you have to find 3 examples from me from the Quran.
Sada, the topic that was covered on Tuesday was with regards to the complex sentence structures, right?
That was regard to the sentence structure, not complex. That was what we did Tuesday was abnormal sentence structure, or
because the abnormal sentence structure recording is for the
Yes, started on Tuesday, and we missed it.
Yes, I will inshallah ta'ala repost it. I have the recording. I checked. It is in my drive, but I uploaded it twice, but something is happening. I think the internet was not good, and we were traveling, so there were breaks, so maybe something happened. So I will check inshallah ta'ala today again, and I'll try to upload it.
I feel like because I wasn't here as well, I listened to it. It was the end of like the 1 hour and 50-minute video that we had. It was towards the end of that. I feel like I listened to it. It was like the last half an hour of that was what we did on Tuesday.
Let me check on the YouTube. Okay. Since we are running late on time, and I have this appendices to explain for further, for your information. So inshallah ta'ala, I will sort it out and let it know. And if you have any questions, you can ask me now, and you can leave because this is something extra. If you want to stay for extra learning, it's okay. but since you know you all have commitments, so you can leave, because this is nothing that will be coming in your quiz on Monday.
So quiz will be on
Everything we have done so far. Yes, because everything is connected. You cannot omit anything. Okay. Okay. So there is something that I want to cover, which is in your book, which is about the referee pronoun. Okay. When we say that when we have a al on the word following the ismul ishara, a sentence is formed. Like we say haza baytu, it's a fragment, but if we say haza al baytu, it is a sentence, right? So when we say the al would turn the sentence into a fragment. But then what is the solution? So solution is to add al and then to add what is called a referee pronoun between the ismul ishara and the word following it. Sometimes if you have to make a sentence, but you have to make a proper ism as well, when we say this house, right, but this is the house, but and you cannot put is am are if you have al before after haza. So the grammatical solution is that you put a referee pronoun in it. The referee pronoun is something that will not contain its meaning, but it will help you to pass the status. Like if you have haza al baytu, it's not possible. But if you say haza huwa al baytu, and huwa that is coming between haza and al baytu is just having you al baytu after haza, right? And it's not carrying any meaning in the translation. So that's why it is called a referee pronoun. Why I'm telling you here is that because you will find it in the Quran and then you will get confused at what is happening. So just remember that if you see haza and al baytu, like haza and the ism with the al on it, and if you find a pronoun in between it, then you don't have to translate this pronoun, because that pronoun is a referee pronoun.
Ustaza, you said haza al baytu cannot be, but haza al baytu can be a sentence, right?
Haza al baytu is a fragment. If we have al after ismul ishara, then it's a fragment. If we do not have al after ismul ishara, then it's a sentence.
After ismul ishara, I don't know.
Mushar lahi cannot have al, right?
Yeah, if al, so that is a fragment, not completion. Right, Hazal Masjidi, this mosque. Haza Masjid, this is a mosque, right?
This is a mosque, yes. But if I have to say this is the mosque, then how will I say this is the mosque?
Yes, then Haza Huwa al-Masjid.
Huwa al-Masjidi. Al-Masjidu al-Masjidi. Huwaza huwa al-Masjidu. Right.
Okay, now what is yes. So make it plural, sorry, proper.
Yeah, if you have to point at something proper, right? But you cannot, if you point at something proper, then it will be, it has to be a fragment, not a sentence.
So Haza huwa al-waladu.
Haza huwa al-waladu.
Huwa
al-waladu, right? Huwa al-waladu, right? Huwa al-waladu, if you say.
Yes. Yeah, that is.
Is that clear to you, sister? Who asked the question initially?
So this is just for single proper ism, and then what we've learned before was when we did the ismul ishara, we did for you're pointing at mudaf, so that's you put it after, but this is for just a single proper ism.
Yes. Okay, if you omit huwa from here, if I say haza al baytu, it's a sentence or a fragment?
Fragment, because of al.
Because of al, it's a fragment, right? But I have to make a sentence here. I'm not pointing this house, right? But I'm saying that this is the house. So how will you say this is the house? Haza baytu?
Yeah, so we can't say al baytu hada, right? Because that's not We're not doing the mubtada.
Yes,
We're not
we are
doing the
not
idafa. So you can't say al-ha.
Yeah. Yes. So here we have to point it, we have to make a sentence, but we have to say it in as a proper ism. Right? If this is the house, right? Oh, this is the house I was talking about. Right? Yes, this is the masjid I was talking about. So then if we have to say in Arabic, we cannot say Haza al-Baitu, what will mean this masjid. And if I say Haza Baitu, means this is a masjid. So to avoid this confusion, this is the masjid, we have to put huwa in between them. Haza huwal masjidu. Or in this case, Haza huwal Baitu.
So Salah is given in Suratul Abas in Tazkira.
Sister, your voice is fading, so can you please come closer to the microphone? You're gone. Sister, you muted? Okay. Okay, now we're looking at some more example in which a referee pronoun is used. Zalika huwal fawzul azim. If I say Zalika al fawzul hakim, it will be a fragment. If I have to make a sentence, I'll have to remove al from fawzu and azimu. So I say Zalika fawzul azimu, then the fawzul azimu is not proper anymore. So if I have to say Zalika al fawzul al azimu, the only way to write it in Arabic is to put huwa in between him. And that huwa is a referee pronoun because it does not carry any of its meaning. It's just a carrier is a barrier between Zalika and an ism which is in al form after it in a sentence. Right?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is what we are, we're not saying it here when we're translating it, then is that why?
Yeah.
Yes.
When we translate it, we don't write that down.
Yes. We just ignore it because if we find a huwa between or any independent pronoun between a ismul ishara and musharun alayhi in proper form with the al, then you will just ignore this pronoun and you say this is a what or just a referee pronoun. I'm telling you here is that because we did the complex sentence structure, and if you just see that Zalika and huwal fawzul azimu, you say okay, Zalika is a mubtada and huwal fawzul azim is a is a khabar inside a jumla ismiya, but you cannot because from ismul ishara you should have a musharun alayhi, right? So do not get confused with that concept that we did because this huwa is not doing anything but just becoming a bridge between Zalika and al fawzu. Right? That could be confusing when you say huwa al fawzul azim, you say oh that's a khabar, a sentence khabar as a sentence coming in a jumla ismiya, right?
But this now it's making it into a jumla ismiya, right?
It's converting it into a jumla ismiya, but it's not a complex sentence structure, it's just a normal jumla ismiya.
Yeah.
Right? Fa'ulaika humul fasiqun, same thing. Ulaika ismul ishara and al fasiqun musharun lahi with an al, and hum is just a referee pronoun here. Okay, they say turn the following fragment to sentence without removing the al. Okay, if we have to put a pronoun in between them to make it a sentence and we don't want to remove the al, what pronoun would you put in it? So can anyone try?
I can try.
Please go ahead.
Ulaika humul muflihuna.
Very good.
Tilka darul akhirati. Tilka is feminine, is it?
Yes, it's feminine.
So tilka hiya darul akhiratu.
Very good.
Hada huwa al bala'u.
Yes.
Hadihi al yaddu. So hadihi hiya al yaddu.
Very good.
Haula'i al mu'minatu. So this is feminine. Haula'i is I think it's plural. So haula'i
Yeah, it's a plural feminine, so it will be hum.
Hum, right? هؤلاء هم المؤمنات.
Very good, very good, very well done. Okay, this was something additional, and there's something more. It's about the modern standard Arabic, so I don't want to go into that. That will only confuse you because we are not doing any modern Arabic here. We're just talking about the classic Quranic Arabic. So forget this appendix 2 and till here. This is the end of our chapter 6 from our book, and this is the end of our studies about the ism. So any question, anything, anyone about the quiz, about anything that you have not cleared about?
Ustaza, can you just briefly explain about the complex structure, sentence structure?
Okay. Complex sentence structure means that when we have a jumla inside a jumla, right? So when we have a jumla can only comes in the khabar, because the mubtada is something that is just a one part, and just we say it's about something. A sentence cannot be about something. And when we say about mutaliq bil khabar, we say that could be jar majroor fragment or should be idafa fragment. So it cannot be a sentence as well. So a sentence can only come as inside a sentence as a khabar. So when we are dealing with jumla ismiya, we identify the mubtada and we identify the mutaliq bil khabar. We separate them and then we look at the khabar. If inside the khabar, you will look at the part of it. So if you find simply independent pronoun, as an example as I give you, most of the time in the Quran it's independent pronoun, and then you have a ism in a rafa form coming after it, and you will find any connection between it. And if it's a multiple ism coming after it, first of all you try to find the connection between those isms separately. If these isms are connected, then we have a one khabar as a fragment or something. If those isma are not connected, right, and then we have a break in the chain, then we'll say, okay, why there's a break in chain? It means there's a sentence coming inside as a khabar. Then we identify the parts of that khabar and then we label them separately, and we say that, okay, there is another jumla ismiya inside a jumla ismiya. That's why it is a complex sentence structure. There are two types.
So the second break in chain will give us an idea that this is the second sentence which is inside it.
Exactly. The second break in chain will give you that there is a. But when you say second break in chain, it could be between the khabar and mutaliq bil khabar. I will not say that. If there is a break in chain inside the khabar, that will give you as a complex sentence structure.
Okay.
Because there is a break in chain between mubtada and mutaliq bil khabar and a khabar. That's why they are two separate parts. Okay?
Yes.
And there are two types of complex sentence structure in which you have a sentence that is coming as a khabar, and sometimes there are more than one khabar, right? It can be more than two sentences as a khabar, but it can be more than two ism as a khabar, or more than two fragments as a khabar. But you have to look at the khabar and you have to separate them, identify them separately. And that's why I say first sort out your mubtada, then your mutaliq bil khabar, and then whatever is inside, just put it in a big parenthesis, mark that as a khabar, and now try to analyze that khabar. Maybe you find one sentence in it, or maybe you find two separate things that you will say khabar number 1 and khabar number 2 or khabar number 3 or khabar number 4, right? Is that clear, Sister Sarah?
Yes, alhamdulillah. So inside the second sentence, which is inside, also in that, also we can have multiple khabars.
Yes. Khabar. It's in the khabar. You can have, in the khabar you have multiple. It is possible. Anything is possible.
Okay.
As far as you're going to start learning, you will find new things.
Jazakallah.
Okay. Now I'm stop recording.